prospect of sending the National Guard and immigration agents into Chicago. It's after he posted an AI-generated image on social media depicting him against a backdrop of military helicopters and fires burning in Chicago. The caption is, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning." He spoke to journalists about the post before he departed from the White House earlier today.
We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our cities. We're going to clean them up so they don't kill 5 people every weekend. That's not war. That's common sense.
The Democratic governor of Illinois has told the president, "Do not come to Chicago. You're neither wanted here nor needed here." The president's words have sparked demonstrations in the city this weekend.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
1, 2, 3, 2.
Stand up, fight back!
Well, Barry Donadio is a former member of the U.S. Secret Service, elected Republican official. Hello, Barry.
Stephen, thanks for having me. Great to be with you again.
Good to talk to you, Barry. And Joe Walsh, former congressman for Illinois, 2020 Republican presidential candidate, and host of The Social Contract on YouTube. Good evening, Joe.
Good to be with you both.
Well, they're provocative words from President Trump. He says they're not going for war, but he's going to sort out the city, Joe. What do you think?
Look, it's beyond provocative, and we cannot and should not laugh at what he's doing. That meme he sent out yesterday, who does that? Only a madman. That's not funny. He literally said he's going to war against one of America's cities. Let me just pull everybody back and remind everybody listening to us. Donald Trump has zero constitutional authority to send the National Guard into the state of Illinois. The National Guard in every single state in this union is not under his command. We can talk about crime and debate crime, but make no mistake about it. This is an authoritarian who is trying to exercise unconstitutional power to address an issue for political reasons.
Barry?
Yeah, I first saw the post there, and I had to look twice. I thought it was actually from the movie until I looked closer, and it was him, and I was like, wow, okay. Read what he wrote, and I really took that as he's declaring war on illegal immigration. I didn't take that as, hey, he's going into Chicago to round up Americans or anything like that. We know that Trump puts stuff on his social media page. Sometimes it's, to get attention to a situation. It reminds me of the time he was posting about when he was the Pope, kind of ridiculous. I think we could all agree on that. And I don't think it was meant to be serious. But look, there's a serious problem over there in Chicago. Everybody knows it. It can't be denied. You can ask anybody from California to New York. They all know Chicago's got problems. It's got immigration issues.
How big a problem does it have?
I think so big that it's gotten the attention of the president. And it's gotten so big, and it's been a long time. It can't be denied. It's just, he wants to clean it up. I mean, the immigration situation, not only in Chicago, it's everywhere. This is what Americans voted him in for. He's doing exactly what the majority of Americans voted him in for. The only gripe I would have is it's not going quick enough.
What specifically, Barry, in Chicago warranted this announcement from a president?
Well, I think, part of this, and probably the congressman there would agree with me, that this is a little bit of political, back and forth between the governor and even the mayor of Chicago, right? And President Trump. There's no doubt about that. That can't be denied either. So, the president's focused on that and the back and forth bickering. But there is a real problem there. There's out of control crime, and everybody knows it. Nobody can even defend that. So, look, I can tell you what I saw in Washington, D.C., and this is what I predict for Chicago. I was in Washington, D.C. I drove from Virginia all the way to Maryland, cut through D.C. I did not see one soldier the whole way. Just the other day, I did it again. I went through the federal district. I saw soldiers over at Union Station. These guys are standing around doing command presence. They're not rounding up American citizens. They are there in case citizens need them for assistance. There were protesters. They were kind, courteous, and respectful that were against the deployment of the soldiers. So It's not really as overblown as maybe people think. And if you're offended that your own National Guard is posting up, doing a command presence, armed with pistols only, assisting the police at a train station, I wonder what your motivation would be.
But respectfully, that's not what we do in America. Those National Guard in Washington, D.C., they're sitting on their butts and they're picking up trash. Now, let's deal in the world of facts and truth. Chicago, Illinois, my hometown, is the 23rd most violent city in America. The 23rd. Does Chicago have a crime problem? Yes. Every big city in America has a crime problem. But if Chicago's the 23rd most violent city in the country, why the hell is he sending troops to Chicago? Which he can't do, because there's a black mayor in Chicago and it's a blue state. And I'm just so darn tired of everybody these past 8 years. Oh, that's just Trump. He just sends out these mean, crazy, cruel tweets. That's just Trump. Man, we have normalized how horrible he is. If Barack Obama was president and he sent out tweets saying, I'm going to war against some Republican city, everybody on Fox News would be ballistic. This is not what a president should be doing. And he doesn't have the authority to do it either.
Can I respond to that?
Of course.
Yeah, well, he does under the Insurrection Act of 1807, if he invokes that. He's already declared through executive order that there's been an invasion of illegal aliens. There's also an invasion of terrorist groups, MS-13. If we go and look at the executive orders from when he first took office, this was already done. So the motion's already in place. If he decides to invoke the Insurrection Act on these cities, yes, he can. He can federalize the National Guard under Title 10 U.S. Code.
He was just his deployment of the National Guard and the Marines in Los Angeles 2 months ago. The National Guard he deployed out there was just determined to be unconstitutional in a ruling last week. He didn't send the National Guard and the Marines out to Los Angeles to do anything about people in this country illegally. He sent them out to do law enforcement against protests. And you know what those National Guard and Marines did for like 4 weeks? They sat on their butts and did nothing. And a reminder, and I know Barry knows this, these men and women of the National Guard, they have lives, jobs, and families. And this president pulling them away to pick up trash in cities just to advance his political agenda is shameful.
Yeah, well, you know, over in California.
So what happens next? What happens next? Because Trump isn't going to back down, is he? Or is he? What happens next?
I think he sends troops. Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry. I think exactly what Congressman said there. I think you're going to see troops being sent. Maybe it's not going to be as widespread as maybe people are thinking. I think you might see them at federal properties, stuff like that. And it seems to be the case in D.C. They're not in the neighborhoods. They're not like not that I saw.
Just to interject for a moment, they're not in the neighborhoods. That's where the crime is. So if he's sending them to Chicago for crime, then he's going to send them to the south side of Chicago and the west side of Chicago. But he's not going to do that. Look, what's going to happen next? He's going to send National Guard troops to Chicago, and immediately he's going to be taken to court, and immediately it will be determined to be unconstitutional. But Trump will keep doing this because his aim is clear. He wants this image of our military on our streets to be normalized. And he wants our military on our streets in the midterm elections next year because he wants to mess with the midterm elections and intimidate people from voting. This is not just a distraction. He has an intent here.
Yeah, I would have to say the National Guard at a polling place certainly would not intimidate me from voting, so I don't know why it would intimidate anybody else. They're my military. Maybe if the Chinese military were there, I would be somewhat concerned. The U.S. military, which is on my side and serves me, I don't feel threatened by. If
Barry,
Trump wants
don't worry,
to send them
they
in
won't
front of
be.
my house.
Yeah, Barry, they won't be in your precinct. He'll put National Guard, he'll put the military in black and brown precincts to intimidate black and brown people, voters. You've got nothing to worry about, my friend.
Okay, Barry and Joe, thank you very much.
Well,
Evening to you both.
Thank you.
We'll leave it there, but thank you very much. 08085